Chris. Oh, so they're waiting. Open the show.
No, you open the show.
I gotta open the show.
Yeah, yes, you have to open the show.
Wrestler's too big. I can't open the show. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna try my best. Hopefully, he doesn't yell at me like Johnny Walker.
I know the
Ladies and
screen. The
gentlemen.
screen needs to be a little bit broader on my end.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Wrestling Paradox podcast.
Podcast.
All right, we back once again. It is interview night here inside the Paradox, and we have a return making their way back for the second time inside the Paradox. That's four. Jesus Christ. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know who we are. I'm Joseph Anthony. That's my boy Chris Thrasher. What's up, Chris?
Hi.
Chris, how do you feel tonight?
I feel good. I feel great. I feel like I'm gonna get a blue chip off my shoulder.
A blue chip. What shirt are you wearing?
Oh, just a CC Dub.
Is that a Tayvian shirt?
Tayvian.
Wow. All right. Well, we'll get into that for a second here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Wrestling Paradox Podcast. Make sure you guys like and subscribe us everywhere on Twitter, on Facebook, this YouTube channel, everything you can find about the Paradox. Please subscribe to it. We really appreciate it. We want to thank CCW as always. You can find them on Twitter at CCWFL right here. I know you can't see it. We're going to get that in there for you. We're going to make sure you guys follow and like, subscribe on Twitter. Make sure you guys catch CCW Alive Wrestling every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Following up by the podcast at 9 p.m. with a new guest every week. And make sure you guys quick shout out to our sponsor, M&J Ecological, 305-697-2258. I think I went too far that way. Chris, it's a great show. Like I said, we got this person coming back for the second time, and it's amazing. It's ironic. You're wearing a Tayvian shirt.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a Tayvian shirt.
Yep.
Oh man. Only if we had Tayvian back. Bo, are you there?
Wrestling Paradox Podcast.
Tayvian's in the building, everybody. Yeah.
What's
up? My man. Tayvian, welcome back to the Paradox. How you feeling?
I don't want to harp on misspellings, but check your text, brother. Look at Chris's background.
Wait,
is he missing an L?
Where?
Wrestling Paradox Podcast.
No,
no way.
No, I don't see anything.
Dude, after all the typo talk we've had, I was like,
all I see is green. All I see is green. Wait, I don't see anything.
It's missing the L.
It says Wrestling Paradox Podcast.
Oh my God, it's over. I have to leave.
We're done. Chris,
not only do you guys always forget to mention me, but you guys forget letters and everything.
Chris, we can never come back to this town again.
We keep the L out.
We keep the L out. No losers around here.
That's it.
Tayvian, welcome back to the Paradox for the second time, sir. It has been quite a while since we had you on here. So much has changed over the past 6 days. What's about 6-7 months since you've been on here?
August or September.
Dude, that's about 7-8 months right there. So let me tell you, Tayvian, we appreciate you coming back to the Paradox. You have been a friend of the Paradox, even though you don't know Chris's real last name. You have been a friend of the Paradox for a long time, and we appreciate everything you've ever done for us in front of everybody or behind the scenes. You have been a great person to have a friend as, and we appreciate you coming back, man, doing this show for us.
Oh man, I was gonna break the fourth wall and tell them how much I actually hate you guys. I just do this for work.
Yeah, can't do that.
That guy won't even tell me his real last name. Gosh darn it!
It's the Forbidden Door.
The Forbidden Door is open. What does that even mean, Excalibur? What does that even mean?
He's playing wordplay off of 4.
So, wow. Where do we even start with Tayvian, man? Tayvian, what has been going on with you?
So we reviewed Summer Glory, and COVID still a thing. A lot of the fan turnout is still not what we want. WWE piped in people. They piped in the digital. At the local level, we don't have that kind of technology or money. But CCW is definitely trying to run a lot more shows with CCW Live airing on Tuesdays. So that's more exposure. It's been interesting because I was gaining momentum. And I got invited to Puerto Rico. I think the podcast was before that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Um, so
Which
that was interesting.
congratulations on that, man. That's an amazing thing to go down there and wrestle for the what is it, World Wrestling Council? I believe they are.
Yes, it was a privilege and an honor to be quite frank. Still coming back and just you know, Eddie made good on his promise the first day he met me. He's like, whenever we open back up, I got ideas for you. So that it's knock it off my bucket list per se.
It's nice.
Unfortunately, a lot of stuff happened there that didn't get a chance to showcase me per se. We had plans where I was going to face one of their best superstars, and that fell through. Um, so it left me in a weird position where I was promised so many matches for tapings. Per wrestling, not everything goes according to plan, and unfortunately, I don't really want. I was told not to break kayfabe, etc. But sometimes, skull sessions are a thing. I think it helps connect to the fans, and they already know, to a degree, it's a work, it's a shoot. There's always a mixed hybrid of all angles. Personally, it was disappointing to not get invited back. That's a shoot. I didn't have a good second match per se, and me and the other wrestler, we actually still talk now. He checked up on me on some other stuff, and he actually had great matches in their recent stuff, which is good for him. I never place blame on bad matches on entirely on the other person, even if it's a botch, because at some point um, I was involved. Accidents do happen, but in this case, no, there's no injury or botch or anything like that. We had ideas for the match that weren't in line with what the agents wanted, and both of us being younger as far as experience wise, didn't execute what they thought a big on big match should be, and in return, I just didn't get an invite back. It's disappointing, but I imagine once I get more experience in film, there's certain attributes for me that typically I'll get booked before others. Um, Nobody's physical appearance wise, and then I truly try to understand storytelling and psychology a little bit more than spot fests. um, so those two things should play in my favor as I get more and more matches on film. Either way, I do look forward to going back to the World Wrestling Council as an honor, working with the Colon family, Savio Vega. um, it was just cool. It's just from the production standpoint, it's really neat too.
Yeah, they look like they put on a great show. I actually went back and I watched it, and little peek behind the curtain. I was riding in a car with Cha Cha Charlie one day, and it was right when the WWC happened, and he had showed me all the matches, and your match was one of them. And I was actually, I like the match. Obviously, you notice certain things here and there, but I don't necessarily place blame on you. I don't think you did anything wrong. I think it was a very, your first time working with somebody, you're not going to have that swift movement.
He actually had 6 matches when Chacha visited recently. That everybody put him over, and I can't. We're too far in early on the podcast to really go into details too much. But this guy, even if there was any sort of odd feelings about our match, because he's one of the few that's checked up on me. Which
Good.
you guys will elaborate on why people are checking up on me.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing is, I ran some other ideas off of him, and I was positive towards him, because anytime I hear anybody got a good run after we didn't have a good run, that's great. If you get an opportunity after both of us felt like we blew an opportunity, um, I, I always root for guys. Like, even if I hate you, I actually don't hate a lot of people because it's wasted energy. I think we touched on that before.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see everybody successful. Even there's just it's too much wasted energy. Like, we're literally solving feuds in our underwear.
You're wrestling for a belt and you have no belt loops.
Yeah. So,
Hey, how do you know about my Friday nights?
I don't, and I won't. Just like your last name.
Oh.
Quickly behind the curtain, I'm in my underwear right now. I only had time to throw on a shirt.
Don't pan down, bro.
Don't pan down.
So anyway, he's really I have much more respect for him than I did at the time, because I found out later some details because COVID's put us all in a weird spot as far as training goes and all of that. So at the time, I think he was rustier than he should be. And as a heel, I've never been a heel ever. And he and I both want to show off our athleticism. And it was, for anybody out there, I'm literally just going to say, if anybody ever asks me to do exactly what they want, I will not ad lib. Even if they nod in and said yes, if you pay and fly me somewhere, and it's not like we arrogantly did or anything. I double checked with the two agents, and they said I wouldn't do that, but I would do that, and let's see how it goes. And we flopped. I got invited by the Colognes to be a part of their promotion.
Right.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Cologne's down there like the McMahons up here.
Yeah.
They run the whole island.
Yeah.
So real quick. So that was the story of WWC. It's obviously not the happiest and shiningest moment of your career at this time. Obviously, there's work that needs to go down. But I want to swerve the podcast just a minute. If you guys don't mind, let me entertain this here. I want to hit something here that I think is gonna be a little fun for you to kind of jolt you up a little bit, have some fun. So I want to do some one-word associations. I've been thinking about this all day, and I want to get it out.
With your brain, I have no idea what's coming.
Exactly. So the one-word association is going to be wrestlers, and these are all wrestlers that you have been in the ring with at some point or backstage with at some point.
All right, just as a disclaimer, I'm gonna work, shoot, quasi. You don't know if it's the truth. You don't know if I'm working you. All right.
Chris, should I give him one-word answers or three-word answers?
We can I can have him elaborate on some.
Okay.
I'll try to stick to one, but if it takes three, I might go that way.
All right.
But you can ask me to elaborate we'll see.
All right. So the first wrestler that I'm going to ask you on this question, Johnny Walker.
So if you asked this a couple months ago, it would have probably been different. Let me just say his actual go-to phrase, magnificent.
Magnificent. Beautiful. I'll take it. King of Flights, Will Austin.
Can I use 2 words?
Yes.
Highly misunderstood.
I like that answer a lot. Personal friend of mine, and I respect that answer. The next person, the neck break kid, Alex Ocean.
Just to use for him.
I knew it. I knew I was going to catch him on one. I thought you froze. I was like, whoa.
I'm actually surprised you guys haven't asked me to elaborate. Are we elaborating later? After the.
Oh, we'll elaborate a little later.
We'll get to it.
Ocean. Yeah, it's weird because again, if you asked me months ago, like he and I were texting all the time, and when I first got in CCW, he was like a brother to me. I think I'm just gonna say he's better than what people think he is.
Okay, I can accept that answer.
And that's way more words, but that's my. So Ocean is so deep, one word just doesn't cover him.
Right. I say it on every show. He's the only wrestler I know that can wrestle a death match wrestling match on a Friday and do a CCW event on Saturday. Work a totally different style in 2 different nights.
Yep. And again, as like his coworker, friend, whatever, sometimes I just literally want to like crap all over how he handles some things, but then also give him like jokes about it, but also he's his own man, so I can respect that.
Yep. So we're going to stick with the Alex Ocean side of things and go with the maker of Nightmare's Agony, because they are an American Horror Story together.
Disappointed programming.
Heard. We're going to stick along those lines and go with Jackal Stevens, who will be a guest on the Wrestling Paradox podcast here in the few weeks coming up.
Before you warn me, amazing.
There you go.
Amazing.
Then we are going to move to our CCW heavyweight champion, El Jefe Santos.
I've actually had the privilege of talking to him several times, and we've traveled together. The Nashville trips, I room with him. He should be respected and sought after more than what he is. So to answer the word play that we're playing, true champion.
True champion. I like it.
Yeah.
Moving into a wrestler that is more known up north. Bo Sawyer. You see where we're going?
You're catching me off guard a little bit because he's not on our roster. Heel.
And the last one.
Speaking of heels,
Chris, ask him.
What are your thoughts on Death Row Jethro?
And from here,
so we're transitioning.
Yes. From here, you can move into your story.
I'm gonna censor myself, WWE Network style.
Why are you getting a double bird?
How much of the wall do I want to break down here?
Please.
But yeah, an FU for the podcast and for entertainment's sake.
Oh, you could say fuck. What are your thoughts? Give me a one-word answer on Death Row Jethro, and then I'm not even gonna transition it, Bo.
I did. F him.
F him. Now you can transition Y into why you're saying F.
Well, no, before I let him go into the story, this past weekend, Bo was I believe it was a heavyweight qualifier match with Death Row Jethro in Division Pro Wrestling. So now you lay out what happened that day.
So it's funny because we're not always told full details, or maybe it doesn't click until we see the playback. Oh man, if my audio is bad, it's because the AC kicked on. Can you hear it?
No, that's fine.
All right. So I saw on the playback actually. So the belts, because Division Pro is on the revision and on the rise again. They were big time in 2017.
Oh, they're huge.
Yeah. So the belts were vacated entirely. So it was a title shot. So at weigh-ins, your boy, not me, he decided to blindside me.
What happened?
Chair shot, destroyed arm.
Destroyed arm. How long are you out with that destroyed arm?
So CCW magazine ended up writing something, and in the meantime, I suffered a bicep strain at Bash at the Brewery.
Okay.
I started doing research projects because I'm actually a science nerd, and so I started traveling to Quantico. Connections there in Langley. If you guys figure out Quantico and Langley, you might know certain contacts and certain things. Needless
he
to
knows
say,
Jason Bourne.
Sure. Either way,
wait, you know Ben Affleck?
That's Matt Damon. Yes. Matt Damon was. Yeah.
But either way, so doing research on ARM and then PRP, which is platinum. It's a plasma replacement. And what you do is you concentrate on strained areas or torn areas. So needless to say, I was feeling pretty good. And then I head to Orlando for a title shot. And now I'm not pretty good. Surgery was required. I also flew to Quantico again. And I will be doing a lot more than just research at this point in time.
Just so everybody can see really quick, you can see the video right here of Death Row Jethro destroying Bo Tayvian's arm. Not the greatest video to look at, but you can obviously see how bad it was. Sorry, man.
It didn't look good.
It wasn't good.
It's one of those things. I don't know if so he and I crossed paths 16 years ago. We were in the same locker room. I don't think our network gave him the heads up that I had a pre-existing issue, but he went right after it once he got me to that wood platform.
Yeah, it was a bad shot, man.
His guy Dwayne, like hit the arm, and his British whatever. I was like, what? Why is my arm getting? I was like, somebody tipped this fool off.
It
So
was
either,
Thrasher. It was Thrasher.
yeah, your last name might be British guy. I don't know.
Chip cheerio.
Today, I'll be out, and it's something I can't rush, no matter what network I have or friends, because to have momentum and to get looked at by different promotions and get invites was encouraging, especially during times with no fans. And then now on the sidelines. I was already doing commentary for CCW here and there, and then whenever Walker doesn't show up and kick me off,
Yeah.
but it's one of those things that try and stay relevant here, and you know. So, anyways, Division Pro felt bad with what Jethro did, so I should make appearances on their commentary team. And it's something that, as you can tell by the length of our podcast, I usually try to take everything serious, and I try to give the fans extra content if I can. Therefore, you should hopefully see or hear me on commentary at both CCW and Division Pro, and that will last as long as I'm not able to perform in the ring.
Awesome. So now with you, we've already touched on you were in Puerto Rico and then you were in Orlando for Division Pro. What are the locker rooms atmosphere between all now that you've gone to Puerto Rico, Orlando, and then CCW? How do they compare? How do they differ?
Are we telecommunicating right now, Chris? Because that was my next question, and you cut me off too quick before I could fucking ask it. I think we have zero like notes here. Like I was like, oh, my next question: what's the locker rooms like in each company? Thanks, man. You're awesome.
Are there any locker room leaders?
So in WWC, it's clearly there. It was a different environment anyway, because you had Eddie, you had Orlando, and you had Carlito, and then you have Savio Vega, and then a couple other agents, and then Pablo was there as well. So a lot of the guys were just extremely respectful. I enjoyed that locker room. Language barrier was a thing, so I had to get certain spots translated, etc. The tall giant and I actually hit it off well, because what was he doing in the locker room during our long day of tapings? Reading books, which is something I also do. So anytime I get around to intellect, I'm like, ooh, all right, what are you reading, buddy? And then we exchanged many. So he and I are on a good level there. That being said, Orlando is, I came up in Central Florida, so a lot of those wrestlers, the older gentlemen, even Jethro, were very familiar with me from back in the day. And then it was a different environment. We knew it was for a taping. It was supposed to be 3 shows. There was an after-hour show, which they turned the place into like a nightclub, and it was a chance for some of the younger guys to get on. A lot of the main card for Division Pro, they were either involved or they had to travel back home because it's so late. But there was catering. Catering's nice. So WWC took care of us food-wise, and then Division Pro took care of us food-wise. So that's always a good thing.
Wow, that's what baffled me. Not just being a fat kid. I'm just saying, there was catering.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to peel the fourth wall on all the different. And to be fair, CCW during tapings has definitely done the same thing.
Right.
So anytime you have the workers there for prolonged periods of time, it's nice to take care of the workers. Just as far as dynamics, I think it's one of those things where currently with me residing in South Florida, CCW is my home. And I think anytime you're at your home a lot, you see way more stuff than when you visit somebody else's home. So in that dynamic, it's a little different. And then also how you're looked at from the outside in. From the outside, a lot of times, and this is a shoot, I feel a little bit more respected from the outside, and that's hard, and that's the truth. And if anybody wants to throw hate at me, that's fine. It's not that I'm disrespected; I just feel like I'm more respected. So,
right, it may not be respectfulness, as a whole. and I'm not defending CCW in any way, shape, or form. I'm just a fan. I just think that with all the talent that they have on the roster, granted, you, sir, are top of the line. Um, but with you being out, I don't know if you would be able to fit in the mix to where you could be like a Lego piece and put somewhere else.
Yeah, no, I mean, my cat. Buster's just, doing his thing.
That was the best fucking run-in ever.
Yeah. And the new finisher that I busted out was at the time of at Bash at the Brewery. So Lex Lovett, my original trainer, used to do the Blockbuster.
Okay.
My cat's name is Buster, and the Blockbuster is a flipping cutter. So I call it the Buster Cutter. To tie into the Blockbuster, plus it is a cutter, and I have a cat named Buster. So anyway, over details. But no, and like I say, it's not a clear disrespect. I just feel that others respect me more, and in that regard, it's one of those. With me being injured, sure, like I understand I have to climb my way back to the top. That's understandable. That's it. But it's. When you show up every day and you do everything you can to promote a company as well, and your initial stages and things change and something changed, it's, hey, booking doesn't always, I'm not the booker, I'm not the owner. And if I truly didn't like it, then I wouldn't show up and I wouldn't support. So at the end of the day, I got to, pay my dues and find my spot. And this downtime has given me thoughts. And Robbie E. seminar that we had at CCW gave me thoughts. And it basically told me I need way more character development on top of my athleticism and my appearance. And my brain just ran. And I have a very creative brain. If you guys haven't seen my different marketing, different logos, and you can't let my brain sit while my body's idle.
Right.
I want to ask you before we touch base on that, what you're doing in your downtime. That's what my next question was: is what is the blue chip Botavian going to do for how much ever longer, the better part of a year that we don't see you? What are you going to be doing? Where are we going to find you? Where's your brain going to be? Where are you going to be at mentally, physically? Are you going to come back in the best shape of your life ever? Are you going to what's going to happen here?
He might come back as a totally different person, like with all being healed up and everything.
Yeah, I mean, healed up as in HEAL or. We got tricks. No. To answer
Wordplay.
As far as coming back in best shape ever. So obviously there's big time damage in the arm, which at my age has me questioning the ability to A, get back in the ring and not have something go again. And then B, I haven't been in the gym. So that's time will tell on that. I think you won't see my best physical package ever because when I competed in bodybuilding, I was lights out, shredded to the gills and all that, but also athletically not the same. So I think with what I'm able to do with my regiment, I should be in way better cardio shape. As far as I can't do a lot of weight training right now, but I got cleared to do way more cardio. And what I'm doing in my downtime, I am reading a lot of books in philosophy, which when you're always practicing in the ring, you can't do. But also, I'm showing, I'm showing up to CCW practices. I'm still showing up to shows. Now I have ties at Division Pro, which is in Central Florida, and they graciously asked me to do commentary. And you guys should know by now I'm studying color commentary mostly whenever I'm listening now. And prior to that, I used to just be annoyed with broadcasters. Not annoyed, but it's like not the details I was watching. I would
talk over the matches or try to take
right. I would actually sometimes just turn on mute and just visually see what the workers were doing. Mm-hmm. So now it's opposite. I try to find, Nick, and I give Walker credit. He's way better on the mic than me, so I understand the demand there. And I always shoot everybody straight, whether it's work or not. Like, yeah, there's no fake in me. But the color commentary is something that I'm intrigued by. If I could add a little detail, drop a dad joke,
I got the dad bod, you got the dad joke, pal.
Um,
And that
but
was
yeah,
one thing about talking over matches or storytelling. You think first person I think of right away is Joey Styles, and he did that shoot work thing where he walked out on WWE, and he's like, they want me to be telling stories instead of highlighting moves and things like that. And deep down, I feel like that was something actually bothering him inside the WWE. Obviously, it was a work. It was a work on him walking out like that. But when you go back and just listen to what he's saying, and you eliminate the moment that he was in and how he had the fans going, you just listen to what he said, and it's like, wait, like that's how he probably really feels because WWE does that. They'll highlight stories instead of moves and putting over a story instead of the wrestler in the ring.
I think, but I also, to touch on that, I think it was a boiling point for him because from like 92 to 2000, 2001 in ECW, he was pretty much the solo play-by-play color commentator. Like he had to tell the story about the match. He wasn't telling stories per se.
Yeah.
But I think just over time, like 3-5 years that he was in WWE on WWE TV, I think it just hit a boiling point and you just have to shut down. He actually backed away from professional wrestling, and I recently read and heard that he's back to professional wrestling somehow in like the New York, Boston area or something like that. So
I think the best we get as fans or Marks or Wahlbergs, whatever, is literally the fine line between reality and truth and fake. Storytelling plus truth. And I think the better workers are the guys that are truly themselves, amped up. And I think the better stories are where there's a bit of truth, like the affair stuff. Any backroom heat, locker room heat, anything like that. So anytime somebody's kind of disgruntled and say they go a heel way and they just mouth off, pipe bomb, people get into it, and there's no faking real.
yeah, no, and you touched on the pipe bomb. I think CM Punk is like he's the true. If you look up that definition of truthful and honest and everything along those lines, CM Punk is going to be there because in every company he said, I don't like this. I don't like that. He did it with ROH. He did it with TNA. Everyone forgets that he had two stints with TNA. And he says, I don't like this. And it showed. But when he got to the main stage, when he said, I didn't like this, that's when everyone's like, oh, let me take a step back. Let's fix this.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, with him staying away from wrestling, there's so many things he just doesn't like.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, right on. Right on.
Joe,
Joe, what's your next question?
Oh, what's the matter, Chris? You ran out there, pal. That's why you can't open the fucking show. No, my next question for Bo.
The good-looking people come on second.
Oh, is that what it is? I guess you say Bo for third.
You guys can't see me, and I'm not even John Cena.
And the wall, and the muscles. My bad, Garfield.
It was Buster.
It was Buster. No, I mean, my next question.
It was artwork. Gosh darn it.
I want some lasagna.
Being on commentary, you were there on commentary at the anniversary show, and I have to ask you a question.
Can you see my face?
Did you watch, and I'm not talking about Bugs or Jackal, did you watch, like we did, the greatest elbow drop to ever happen in independent wrestling? You didn't catch it? You didn't catch James Creed's elbow drop?
That wasn't at the anniversary.
Yeah.
It was. It was the Battle Royal.
It was the Battle Royal.
Okay, because
he did one Friday night too. I saw it.
Okay.
He did one Friday night too, but man, oh man, did you pop like we did? Because me and Chris popped hard.
It's one of those things. So where did I see it? Yeah, actually, no, I called it, and I called it Shawn Michaels, even though people wanted Randy Savage?
Yeah, no, it was Shawn Michaels-esque.
And I called Shawn Michaels on commentary. So yeah, I saw it.
The reason
he just goes up in the air with that nice flight, and he pulls it out late, and it's artistic.
It was so fluid.
Accuracy, correct.
So fluid. And as soon as it happened, I turned to Joe and I go, that's probably one of the best elbow drops I've ever seen. And he looked at me and I'm like, bro, he just like floated in the air. And really last second, he popped the elbow. It's not even like he just laid it. He popped the elbow, did the whole motion. And we went back and we actually saw him. Joe went back and told him, hey, we thought that was a really good elbow drop. We thought one of the best. After the show, he actually came up and I said, hey, man, keep doing what you're doing. Like that elbow drop is going to get you places because that one move made me pop. I would love to see you in a one-on-one match. And he was very appreciative
Very
and everything
humble.
like that. Yeah, very humble. We stay in contact with him.
Yeah.
Very humble kid.
I was going to say to break it down further. So he and JPH actually drove down from Chicago.
Right.
They were from the Nashville seminar. That's how they came across CCW.
We are in South Florida. If everybody does not know, we are in South Florida. These people
so to drive down unbooked and just looking to help the company and just hungry enough to do so, that's great. The other cool thing is they helped with the ring. They're very. This is James Creed and JPH, to be clear. They're very humble guys. They're very helpful. They're very respectful to everybody, and they both bring dynamic things that if we stood them in a lineup, you wouldn't even think so. JPH, for instance, at the seminar in Nashville, popped off a kip up that nobody saw coming. Oh. And then James Creed, I just watched those two work. That now with social media, they actually posted training videos. The cool thing about him, he could do a whole bunch of flippy stuff, as I call it. And Dan hates. He's like, "Did you just call that flippy flop stuff or flippy stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's what it is."
Dad,
but James can do it, and he doesn't use it. Right. Which to me, I'd rather you. And he does it pretty well because it looks like he does everything pretty well. So James Creed, props to you. Nothing about you is a bad thing, man.
No, make sure you guys follow James Creed at the James Creed right here on Twitter. And obviously here is the little video of him doing the elbow drop. But no, what I wanted to ask you, and one of the main things I wanted to talk to you about, and the reason I brought up James Creed and that elbow drop was the young talent that comes in from out of town, and this young talent that comes in and helps us with shows or helps you guys get shows over, and the things that they bring. Obviously with people like James Creed and JPH, they travel. They go to different locker rooms and they're bringing something with them to the CCW locker room. What are your thoughts on the other talent that is not CCW roster coming in and giving their help and experience to CCW guys?
They do the proper things and they help break down and set the ring, which is greatly appreciated. And that's normal. Even if I travel somewhere, and not that I'm anybody, but I would fully expect to break down and set the ring. So even at division,
and not to step on your toes, but we were in Nashville with you guys during the seminar, and both James and JPH broke down the ring there, set up the ring and broke it down. They drove, like you said, they drove from Chicago to Nashville just for the seminar. Then they went
hoping
back,
to get booked.
Hoping to get booked.
Yep.
They were in the Battle Royal.
You know who did that from ours? And this stays in the CCW family history. Ocean, Will Austin, and Jake St. Patrick went to Texas, and they got commended by everybody because they did the same thing. Those three guys helped the Texas crew set up, stayed around even when they weren't really involved. And you know what it did? It got them booked.
Right.
Any worker, wrestler out there, or anybody who's even around, the best thing you can do is offer to help. The worst thing you can do is sit there and chit chat while you see other people working.
Right. I mean, it's with any company, with any business, you always start at the bottom. You're always gonna have that experience at the bottom. To where if you get to the top, you know how to do the stuff that's on the bottom. So why can't anyone like top of the line, top tier guys break down the ring, set up the ring?
Exactly. I mean, at CCW, it's two of our best workers that normally, and I always help as well, is Jake St. Patrick and Jackal. They almost always are involved with setup and breakdown. And guess who does the same thing at AEW? Jake St. Patrick does whatever they ask of him, and that's why they keep asking him back. And that's, you're there to help the company. Period.
Yep.
It's humbleness. It's humbleness.
Yep.
I think that the worst thing in life is to try to eat a piece of humble pie, and so just being humble throughout your whole life when everything you do. What I take not pride in, because I'm not in the business or anything like that. What I like is when I come to shows, whether it's at the CCW arena or the anniversary show, and before the show, Jake St. Patrick is always in the ring, either sweeping it or vacuuming it.
Yep.
That is,
and that's just the respect for the ring and the business.
yep.
That's what that is.
I remember I was at an event down here for WWE, and I was front row, but I was on the aisle. It was for Hell in a Cell back in 2014, I believe it was. A friend of mine got us tickets, which was really cool. And if you go back, you can still see me. But after the show, we hung out trying to talk to a couple people inside the arena, and I saw Charles Robinson. Got his name right this week. Charles Robinson. Who is the other one that's been there forever that wears the armband? Just got let go.
Armstrong.
No, not Armstrong. Kyoto. I
Oh,
saw
Mike.
Kyoto,
Yeah.
and I saw a couple of the guys, and they were the ones breaking down the ring because as soon as that event was over, they were out. And I was like, "Hey, Charles Robinson, got him over. We got pictures. I don't have the picture anymore because fuck that friend that I was with. But it's your friend Chuck Taylor. Um, not the actual Chuck
It's
Taylor.
not Chuck Taylor,
It's
but
not the
this
actual
this
Chuck Taylor.
kid looks exactly like Chuck
Identical.
Taylor, identical to him.
Identical. Anyway, but no, it was really cool to see that the referees were coming out and some of the lower card wrestlers were coming out and they were breaking down the ring. So that's any level you get to. You have to have that humbleness, especially if it's a McMahon or a Khan or somebody like that. You don't want to ruin that ticket. You want to make sure you can do everything you can until you're in WWE for 3 years. They don't use you and you ask for your release. What's up, Andrade? CCW's got to open and come talk to us.
Yeah, but at least he never forgot his lines on national TV.
Because he didn't know his lines. He didn't know how to speak English. Not a shot at him. Anyway, that's not why we're here. We're here for Bo Tayvian and the Blue Chip. And this is still going, ladies and gentlemen. We are far from over for this one.
Don't you have to mention your sponsor though at some point?
Marcus, what's up, man? Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys give a call to Marcus Andrade if you have any pest control issues, anything like that. Make sure you guys give him a call at M&J Ecological 305-697-2258. Make sure you guys give him a call there. Bo Tayvian, you have shirts for sale, don't you?
So yes and no. I was that guy because I had shirt connections from another business that did not do the wrestling tees and all that. First off, whatever. You're in the business to make money, and having the middleman just yes, more exposure. That's the trade-off. More exposure, but then you become a volume sales guy. So I did run the Booyah CC Dub shirt. I designed that CC
These
Dub
shirts right here, guys.
logo. But I ran specific sizes that I predetermined. And I sold a lot, and I reached out to a lot of friends saying, "Hey, on my comeback, do you want some merch?" And they all bought in and they supported. So it's one of those things that, how do I say this? And you guys will probably get this because you guys actually know me. I'm typically above average at things I do, and I'm typically not in your face with how I do it.
Okay.
In a regard to where I'm not that guy, and this is why I hate the flex thing, that show off my body and all that. You should see it and appreciate it. I shouldn't have to put it in your face. And so while I was a marketing major in college, and I understand the concept, put it in their face, put it in their face, put it in their face, make them buy it. It's never naturally sat with me. I'd rather just have it available and then you come get it. And I know full well I'm missing opportunity there. Just because if I do put in your face, hey, buy my t-shirt. Hey, buy my t-shirt. Here's a link. I would probably drive sales more. But I'm not in the business for that. I'd rather have those people that appreciate me and say, hey, let me support you by buying your shirt. And if the demand upon my return is such, I'll maybe pursue that.
Yeah, I think also it's you're not, yes, the merchandise sale does, and everything like, but you're trying to generate, grow your career somewhere else, or get bigger and everything like that. You want the fans to come and get your merch because they want to follow you,
right?
And everything like that. You're looking at longevity.
My biggest thing is, I forgot who posted it, but I was in line with it 110%. I don't want people to hear about me and then be disappointed with what they got. Mm-hmm. And so as my work rate in the ring continues to improve, my mobility improves, and my selling and storytelling and just the general understanding of working a match and performing improves, and hopefully character comes out as well. Because I'm one of those subtle people that if you're around me, I get these jabs, and you can see where my brain's always ticking and all that. But in the ring, and then as a baby face on the not without even a shot on the mic, it's not a natural fit for me. Whereas if I was a heel and responsive, um, that might be more of a natural fit in regards to performing and entertaining, or even in today's day and age, you have to put so much time into vignettes to even get people to look past it. And I don't always have that kind of time due to real life things.
Gotcha. So now I have a really stiff question.
Sure.
Stiff.
Honestly, if you're snug, I don't mind stiff. Like, make me feel something.
Yeah, that's what she said. So uh, so now we're coming up on your anniversary of your return. 1 year after being out of business for so long. Where do you see this day and age of professional wrestling, whether it be AEW, WWE, CCW, or any local promotion that's around?
You mean just the business as a whole?
Yeah.
I mean, first and foremost, when things open back up and we manage COVID more, everything will improve. I think there's just based on the wrestling groups I'm in online, there's a very negative, passive aggressive, almost like keyboard warrior mentality to where I can mouth off and I don't appreciate this because you're not there to feel it. Anybody can dissect the tape and say, "Oh, that was a botch," or "Oh, they didn't really connect." But if you're not there, it comes off different.
You could slow a tape down. You could slow a video down.
Right. And that's the other issue too. Is like even on the Buster Cutter in Fast, it looked fine, and I'm the first to go right to it. First off, I couldn't use my arm the whole match. So for anybody that was there, everybody's like, "Man, I didn't even know," and like I did what I could, and everybody, worker wise, they commended me because if you see the photo of my arm, it was not good. But that being said, I also knew the match wasn't very good because there was dull spots that I could have filled if I was healthy and fully with it. Because when your arm has what happened to it, and this is the Bash of the Brew match, not Death Row Jethro's destroying me before we even had a match. The it's one of those things that mentally I was like, something's wrong. What can I do? What can I do to entertain the crowd? And I'm still looking for footage of it because the bus and I put together a stalled vertical suplex, and I went up with my patented high drop kick, and I think it looked nice, but I haven't seen it because Andy's 6'5". He had Santana in the air for a stalled vertical, and I sent them both to the mat. And that's about the only. That's about the only thing I wanted to see. And honestly, if you saw me squaring up and moving my arms, I was literally seeing if my arm could handle my landing. If that makes sense. I literally was playing to the crowd, but I was framing the shot, but I was testing my arm. And that's how I think. And people won't always appreciate that, but my mind is always like, all right, what can I do next? What can I do next?
You're like a magician, basically. It's sleight of hand.
So I wish I was a better magician.
Gotcha.
So I want to rewind a little bit. We know the injury happened at Bash at the Brew with the bus and things like that in that match. First things first, I want to ask, what are your thoughts on the bus? And then I want to transition that question into your match with the Cha Cha Juggernauts and that beautiful pounce you did. So first, let's touch on the bus. What are your thoughts on the bus and now the position that he's in with you being out?
I mean, he's in a great position at Port St. Lucie. That's his hometown. He's in a great position because he's a great guy. And since the day I got there in April of 2020, I've seen the guy literally improve, and he's like 51. So his association with me has nothing to do with his success. In fact, I blame him for my losses that we've taken.
Choo choo.
So, and the other interesting thing is, in self-reflection, and I'm always as real as it comes. A lot of times, the only thing we have over is his woot woot, and my power moves get a little buzz, but his woot woot is over. So that alone is like, okay, this guy has something. He connected on the bus gimmick, and I need I need that for shoot me, not you know. But his hey, if he gets more championship matches and all that, he and Johnny Walker started a feud. There was a lot of different stories that were going to happen and all of that. I imagine they will continue the feud when Johnny Walker's healthy again. But Andy tends to get the bigger guys on the roster. That's actually how he and I got paired. Is he was facing me. I beat him every time, and that's
You bum. No, I love
hey
Andy.
man, let's
Damn, he hit him with the bus twice already in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So then to answer your question as far as what happened in the Cha-Cha Juggernaut match, which was prior to the arm injury, the pounce on 450 Vince Steele, the suplex on him after a German to Cha-Cha, that was. I'm a firm believer everything happens for a reason. And that literally, even in the chat on the live thing, everybody put it over that I was shining in that match, and I was thankful for that match in that regard.
I thought it was a great match. I was actually in the crowd for that match and the Bash at the Brew match, man. And your momentum was on the rise, to say the least, since Summer Glory 13, kind of like CCW, right when the Wrestling Paradox podcast showed up. The momentum's been flying through the air. Did you catch that? She came right out of Quantico, baby.
Yeah, but you don't always see everything out of Quantico.
So with your momentum going,
with Ben Affleck as Jason Bourne.
Yeah, that we don't know.
Wait, so you mean to tell me Matt Damon isn't Batman? Which one's Batman?
He's also not Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Well, how you like them apples?
I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna fucking say it.
Joe doesn't even know it.
No.
I hate both of you.
I got a number. I got a number.
Yeah, he got her number.
Yeah.
Hey,
Had to be there. Geography joke. Is it a geography joke? I had to be there.
No,
It's
man.
Good Will Hunting.
Good Will
It's probably one of
Hunting.
the best movies of all time.
It's but by the way, we hate you, Joe, and me and Chris connect on different level. But you have my
You
cell
don't even know
phone.
his last name, so I don't want to fucking.
I know, and he doesn't even have my cell phone.
I have a cell phone, and I call Bo every day.
It's like Bo's a secret agent.
Yeah, it's something.
So, like I was saying, your momentum was on the rise. You were blowing up. You were one of the next big things that CCW had to offer, and they were pushing you heavy, man. You came out, you won the Battle Royal. I don't feel like I saw you lose for a while there, and then obviously Team Double Bus, Cha-Cha Juggernauts happened, and you guys went over at Bash at the Brew. But where your momentum was going, are we going to have that same momentum when Bo comes back?
I mean, long and short, there were a lot of changes as well. I think there was a pathway to see me utilized. I think my momentum will be there. I'm just not sure where it's going to be utilized.
I look forward to all the
long and short. I think the other opportunities that were coming in, I might capitalize more on those.
I feel like we're going to see great things coming from the Blue Chips future, and hopefully you heal up really well, and we'll get you back in the ring as quick as possible. But
I mean, he's getting plasma in his arm and a whole bunch of other shit. So.
No, debating that, but there's other research projects in the works for sure.
Gotcha.
So
he's gonna be like that guy from Mortal Kombat, like with the robot arms.
That guy.
I hope not, because honestly, surgery sucks. Like the injuries, they didn't hurt as much as surgery did. And then to touch on, and we don't, as men, we don't talk about mental aspects, right? Mm-hmm. It's and I touched on my social media post. It's not heartbreaking per se, but being on commentary and being around the boys and to be at shows when you can't be out there, much less in my comeback. And I only came back to literally try to make it. I didn't come back just to work an independent show. Like, that was not my design. I enjoy the creative aspects. I feel alive when the crowd roots me on. But I had a very methodical plan to try to get better and to try to get more exposure and to try to get opportunities. And it's derailed at the moment. So on a lot of levels, and then for me to be such a physical person, to not be able to do normal things for my livelihood, I'm not the guy that has to go to the gym for mental sanity. Like I said, I'm more than happy to read books and work on creative logos and different character ideas and study wrestling. But to a degree, there's a physicality that once there's a cause of doubt, that sucks. And I threw Vince around without a doubt, and then I picked up Noah King and pop. So in the future, I'm like, if any big asks for a big spot, as much as I don't want to admit it, I just got to go, daddy. But
Right. It's
I'm
it's in the back of
also
your mind. It's in the back of your mind. It's in the back
right.
of your brain.
And so, like, the other thing is with age, we think more than when we were a kid. We just jump off the top of our dresser and land on the bed, dropping an elbow.
Right.
Now at 38, approaching
That's
30.
how Creed got good at it. He jumped off the dresser onto the bed.
But now
Yeah.
approaching 39, while my body and how I appear younger, obviously there's going to be some give, which also led me to examine my move set. Not that me teasing picking up a lighter dude, it was a very normal thing, much like picking up your groceries or me doing a dumbbell curl. It just happened. Jethro hitting me with a chair did not just happen. I hate that guy right now. It's wrestling.
Dude,
Um,
that
but
chair
it's
shot was so fucking wicked, man.
yeah, you're telling me you're not the guy that had to go through the surgery from it.
Yeah.
God,
Go ahead.
What I wanted to touch on was after the video was released and you released a clip on social media, the outreach to you from other wrestlers within CCW, within
they all called him fucking crazy. What are you talking about? That was the outreach.
but just hey, the get well, get better. I'm sorry to hear about your, the surgery and the chair shot. This, like we go back to the humbleness. Jake St. Patrick reaching out to you, hey, get better, man. Blah blah blah. This, that, and the other. It's that also has to weigh in on the mental aspect of you.
So
you being down, but you have a backup. You have people that have your back.
Like if we go back to the first episode with you guys, we touched on I was almost paralyzed 16 years ago, and that was a part of why I quit. There was, and again, we didn't all have cell phones, and there was no Facebook, so that might have changed things too. Because a lot of people, my phone, since we released the video from Saturday's Orlando event, and the outcome and all that, my phone has been nonstop of people were aware of of an injury at Bash, and then people were aware of me still trying to wrestle. They were aware of my research projects. And at the end of the day, people were genuinely concerned. Whereas when I almost got paralyzed, which is a way bigger deal than my arm injury, there wasn't much. So I was like, F this, man.
Right.
And so in a lot of ways, that eases the comeback. It also kind of makes you feel wanted because even on the arm strain, right, at Bash, I was slated to work 3 shows back to back for Division Pro and the various promoters in Central Florida, same weekend. And as soon as the arm strain issued, they're like, "Oh, dude, if you're able to even go 80%, we want you."
Right.
And that was awesome too. Any opportunity anybody's willing to give me, if it doesn't cost me money, I'm grateful for it. But but no, the mental aspect of the human side of it, and then a lot of more hardcore guys when they let down the wall and they respect me enough to say, dude, the things you're doing and willing to do while we know you are hampered or that was cool. And
Right.
and my parents still think I'm crazy, and I'll resort back to and part of why I came back. Not that I was dead or anything, but there's a physical nature and a feeling of alive. And there was some other things that in my life that I said, not done yet, and can I capture it again, and can I see what this is? And dude, if Puerto Rico WWC was the pinnacle for me, I at least have that. I have the footage. And some of the matches and some of the people I've now met in my re-journey, then great. I do not want that way in. or that match at Bash at the Brew to be my last one. So if anything, and if rehab is going questionable, I might call in a favor and say, I'm going to do one more and go out blaze of glory. Or hopefully I put together a nice chain, get some momentum going, and get some more opportunities going. I can't predict anything at this point because I was not expecting this.
Right. Yeah. It's like unsolved mysteries, basically.
Yeah.
Now we are getting into the point of the interview where it gets a little fun for us, not for you. We are going to put Tayvian on the spot. And obviously, you're a fan of the interviews. You've watched them all before, just to see if you get mentioned, obviously, which we always, even if we don't say your name, we always think about Tayvian. So, Bo,
you don't.
you should know what's coming up, sir.
And we get fucking heat for it.
Yes.
What, the AEW versus WWE same contract?
No, we don't mention you in our show.
Dude,
I hammer you guys immediately.
You didn't fucking say my name, you dick. All right, I'm sorry, sir. Please don't beat me up.
No, it's no. Actually, the part of that is honestly a work, just because I get a kick out of you guys always ignoring me.
I work the entire chat. I need to back up for a second, Chris. If you ever say that one-armed guy from Mortal Kombat or the metal arm guy from Mortal Kombat,
is it Jax?
It's Jax, you dick. Now get the answer right. Give him some respect. Second of all,
yeah, he was never picked. It was either Sub-Zero or Scorpion.
All right, can I just say I prefer Tekken over Mortal Kombat?
What?
Tekken.
Okay, so this is where the interview ends, everybody. Have a good night.
Dude, look for a while there, had way more strategy than button smashing.
Chris was just a button smasher back in the day.
See, that's why I didn't like it.
No, and I also like Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct, I think, was better than both of those.
And the new age, I can't play video games anymore because they're so real and so hard. I'm like, no, I'm out. I need to be able to pick up quick learning curve and not button smash per se, but understand it. And there's so much depth. I'm like, nah.
Yeah, I was really good at Call of Duty, like World War Call of Duty, but now this new one that's like Call of Duty like 10, I'm like, yeah, I suck.
Anything that I have to jump and shoot, I can't do
it. I mean, you can physically stay. You can physically stay in your chair and shoot on the video game. Chris.
No, I'm talking about on the game. On the game, like Halo and the new Call of Duties, like they run and then they jump and then they shoot you and kill you while they're jumping. I'm like, I try to do it. I'm like, what the fuck, man? I look like a toddler playing this game.
Dude, nothing beats GoldenEye with that little claw. You can Spider-Man to the top of a wall and just snipe. Nothing beats that. Anyway, back to Joe and
my ridiculously hard question. Same contract, same days, same everything.
It is that question. I asked if it was that question.
What company are you picking? AEW, WWE, same amount of days, same amount of money, same exact contract, identical on everything. You don't have to answer the question straight up. Obviously, if anybody watched the Sebastian Cage interview, which I'm sure everybody did, his answer was longevity. So I'm going to ask you the same question. Where does Tayvian go if offered equal contracts?
Yeah, I mean, if we're taking a real look at it, right? I'm 38, turning 39. I don't think WWE looks too kindly on that. All of their stars right now are 35. They've had 16 years in the business. I had that gap. So I don't think outside of Vince liking my physique, I'm not convinced he's going to be big on me. But as everybody else has answered, obviously WrestleMania would be your goal when you grew up. I'm past the childhood dream. I don't even think it would be an honor to get the invite from either and get a contract from either. I think as far as creativity, it has to be AEW and the freedom, but longevity and safety, WWE seems to have safety because if you look at what Miz does, who I sometimes get compared to,
what?
Spiked hair. If I'm a heel, you might see it more.
Wait, what? Who compared you to Miz?
But also, you guys have been around me enough. I can see it sometimes.
Tayvian. So from here, where do we see Tayvian in 3 years?
3 years?
3 years. I used to say 5 years, but you've already called yourself old, so I'm just gonna go 3 years.
There's some stuff I just don't want to say on here.
Okay. So,
but it's fine.
We'll back up. We'll back up.
No, I'll answer your question. It's because I don't really duck anything, even your clothesline.
I was gonna say it. I didn't want to.
Yeah. Uh, 3 years. Obviously, if there's a big contract, hopefully I'm at either of the two. Um, but I do, based on what I just went through, there's a finality that if I'm not somewhere by a certain timeline, I'm out.
Yeah,
And that's just being real.
I understand.
Um,
I understand.
and
You're a different breed, Bo. And the
I
reason
am.
that
Yeah.
is you missed 16 years of this and jump back in it like nothing ever missed a beat. And I don't blame that to your injury because you wrestled how many matches before you got injured since you've been back? I mean,
Uh,
it's
yeah, I think
wild.
it's. I mean, it was picking up too, which would
Right.
have been nice. And I missed one of the tapings, so that would have been 3 to 4 more. And then I had. All right, so I had momentum, and there's so many things saying stop this, right?
Yeah.
Because like every time I'm given more opportunities, they're not panning out the way they should. Um,
Yeah,
but
the raining in Nashville.
yeah,
You
that was
know?
my first singles match, and it was in the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, you guys. Anyway, we're putting a bad potion on this. Um, no, let's just. I had a lot of matches in the first year and a half, 2 years of career, 16 years ago, and here in this first year. If we're counting records, I think right now I am with the tag matches included. I think I'm at 14.
So 14 matches
And
before.
during COVID, I'll take.
Right.
And I think I'm like 10-4
Honestly, like personally, I
because
think
records
COVID,
matter. By the way, any booker, if you need me to job and the story makes sense, hire me.
I
I'll do
think
it if it
COVID
makes sense.
I don't think COVID was horrible for indie wrestling. I really don't. I feel like CCW's picked up to a whole nother level. OCW's picked up to a whole nother level. All these different companies, Division Pro's back. All these different companies are thriving right now during this time. And this is the time where it's supposed to be the worst thing ever for companies like WWE or AEW. But CCW, since Summer Glory 13, July last year, when you made your debut, or June last year, when you made your debut, dude, they've been blowing up. They've been huge. Like
Yeah,
it's been crazy. They got a show they run every week. I mean, Bash at the Brew is now once a month. They're having 3-4 shows a month.
it's one of those things that if you're willing to push the envelope on what society says you should and should not be doing, you're going to be at advantage if you're also in line with people willing to work.
Yeah.
And a lot of times CCW follow the protocol of temperature check, COVID tests, and WWC same thing. COVID test was talked about for sure at Division Pro. And if you do due diligence, and at the end of the day, most of us are fairly healthy athletes, we're probably not the typical victim to COVID in regards to the drastic measure. So if you're willing to be one of the few running and you have all these other like-minded individuals who want the opportunity, you're actually going to blow up versus the promoters that are sitting on their hands not taking that risk. And that's not to look down on them. I think that's a fair business decision. In fact, I'm now in association with a guy who had a decent promotion. And I keep asking, I was like, you going to be up and running? He's like, not yet, brother. Not yet, brother. So the opportunities are there, and with social media, I think you just have a nice. There's a lot of downtime of less travel as well, and there's a lot more setup to everything, so it seems bigger than what it is. And also, I don't think you should be running too many shows. I think you should make each show count. And if you're in a different area, sure, you're bringing something to them, so that there is something to be said for taking over a territory, as it's been alluded to before. If CCW decides Southeast is the territory they want, if they're the only ones running and calling in the big names and getting the better talent, then they're going to be lead dogs. Same token, I think nowadays with live stream, there's plenty of opportunity to build a brand even from no audience. Because we're now conditioned for it. We have limited audience at AEW, have limited audience at WWE. After WrestleMania, might go back. Football is also talking about having an audience as well. So I think the things you could have done creative, the promoters are wanting to get a late jump on it now. I think the time to use your talent with a closed off, just a ring, I think that's going to escape us when crowds come back. I think once crowds come back, all these promoters that could have ran matches in a very television type taping and have us used to it, I think they missed the boat.
Right. No, yeah, it's Joe, you touched on it earlier that Bo is a rare breed. Um I thought about it as while he was talking is he had the 16-year layoff. So now that he's come back, he's still very green. But he's mature because he's seen it all. He's been through, different areas of his life, so the bodybuilding, the wrestling, and everything like that. So he's more mature, but he's still green in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I love, not that I want to cut Joe off on that. I actually love that you say that, because I think I'm misunderstood on a lot of ways. I don't at all think I should be handed the platter just because my looks, my athleticism. I do think I deserve opportunity because I approach things very cerebral and I understand the business. And I study more tape than most. So while I might, in my own physical performance, falter or lack in a moment, I understand why. Um, and I'm also the harshest critic when I review my tape. And I think, Chris, you know that because I've literally said I hated that, and I hated that.
And I'm like, that's perfect. I liked it.
Right.
Yeah.
So whenever anybody out there, like even for CCW guys, if you guys think that I'm like some know-it-all or whatever, Chris touched on it. I literally have for 16 years studied it and looked at it and all that. And from the outside in, it's kind of like when a quarterback's on the bench the whole time, they learn from a different angle. Mm-hmm. And so physically I might be green. I might not get my hands up and go into the next hold looking like a fight and very robotic because my body's stiff. Those are facts. I'm working on it. But my athleticism and my appearance and working on character, that's going to come with time. But the more I talk to, and my network is good. I have respect from the guys from 16 years ago that some of these true green guys don't even have the respect of. And that's because, again, the mental maturity and how I approach it. I'm not baby caking anything. I'm just literally saying this opportunity doesn't make sense for me. I don't like it.
Right.
Go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I mean, shit. This is one of the longest interviews we've done. So I mean, I feel like we got a lot. Chris, what else do you have for the blue chip? Because I'm drier. Never mind. I'm dry. I got nothing left.
I can't even say that's what she said.
No, we're not touching that one, pal.
But no, I'm good.
Well, I mean, honestly, Joe, if you want to dive in on what Chris was on, I know you had some thoughts to that because you guys watch so much wrestling, and you can pick on me for being green. That's okay.
No, I mean, you are green. I'm not gonna say you're the drizzling shits. I don't think you are. I think you are green. I think there is so much to learn, but like you said, you learn from a different side of it. If Aaron Rodgers is out, for 8 weeks of the year, he's going to see a different side of the football field. He's going to know more. And obviously that's a bad comparison. Aaron Rodgers doesn't need to know anything. He's the GOAT. Let's use someone like Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, something happens to him. He has to sit out for so many weeks. He's going to see the different side of everything, so that's a good comparison. So I mean, that's that. Bo, I really got nothing else, man. We touched on everything tonight. It's been an absolutely amazing show. Again, this is the longest one of this season. And I knew it was coming. That's okay. I expected it.
I mean, thank you guys for having me on. We also knew it was longer because the duration of space between the episodes.
Yeah, we knew we had a lot to talk about, and that's fine. That's okay. So this is coming to an end, and Blue Chip, we appreciate you coming on, and good luck on your trips to Quantico. Remain safe. Yep. And good luck in all your experiments that you're taking care of. And again, we hope you heal up really well. And we get to see you back here soon.
Thank you guys. It's it's one of those things that there's a lot more going on than just the physical body, the body guy. There's way more going on, I promise you. And hopefully I get an opportunity, whether it's on the microphone commentary to stay relevant. Hopefully I'll be back sooner than we think. And thank you guys for having me on.
We won't let him forget you, Bo. We won't let him forget.
No, you forget me all the time. That's
we won't let him forget. Oh, I can't forget. Trust me. You have my phone number.
I'm not even going to work you over on that one anymore.
P.S. You're still the last body guy in my eyes.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Say something stupid. I think you already did.
No, Juice. No, I'm joking.
That's Joe's boy. Leave him alone.
I know.
Boy, Juice. Juicy
Hey,
juice.
honestly, as much as we go back and forth, Juice, yours and Jake's match, I enjoyed commentating on, and I enjoyed that match.
Yeah,
Genuine, straight up, like I enjoyed it.
he's a good guy, man. Behind the scenes.
Much less, once again, 28-degree weather for both those big guys to not get blown up. Props.
Right.
Props.
Him and
Legit,
Jake
like
were amazing. Him and Jake
yeah.
Sherwood was amazing. No, so we're not even gonna get into all that. We're gonna save that one for another time. So, Bo Tayvian, the blue chip, the last body guy in the business, whatever you want to be referred as, man. Thank you for coming on to our show. We appreciate it. Glad we had a nice little cameo by your cat. That's always amazing. The best running in the business. So again, we appreciate it. And this has been a wrap, ladies and gentlemen, on the Wrestling Paradox podcast. Chris, you know what to say.
Something stupid.